Welcome to Soundbreaker. I'm your host, Bob Shammy, and we're about to break the silence. Join me as we go behind the scenes and meet some of the most influential names in the music industry. Get ready for remarkable success stories that break the norms and defy the odds. From dreams to success, from challenges to victory. An exclusive backstage pass into the lives of music trailblazers as they create their own path to success. This is Soundbreaker. Welcome to Soundbreaker. In today's episode, we're talking to Rob Schwartz, who is a groundbreaker in the music industry. Rob, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
For listeners,
thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And for our listeners out there who are not familiar with you, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what do you do?
Is this a 3-hour podcast? Because we'll be here for 3 hours, but I'll give you
We'll summarize it. We're going to summarize it.
Started off at Polygram Records in the mid-90s. Started my own label after that. Went to West Coast as a songwriter. Worked with some artists off of the Face label. Came back to the East Coast. Started a website 2000. Actually, I went to Wall Street. While I was doing that, I started a website 2001 called whomag.net. Then I turned to a DVD magazine where the first one to put HipHop in Blockbuster, Netflix. We also are Walmart, Target, everything like that. 2005, 2007 turned to a TV show. We're the first independent hip-hop TV show to go international with 120 million households on Sky TV on a station called Cool TV. From there, we went all over the world, brought it back to the U.S., aired nationwide in the U.S. for a while. Then all of a sudden, in 2010, I started something called Whomag Distribution. We started our first record was KRS-One and Just Ice EP, which helped get a deal. Now, 13 years later, I have 1,000 artists, 300 labels, through our distribution, including a Grammy. 2012, I launched the first urban OTT network called iFame TV on Roku. Then from there, now we have 3 networks. We have iFame TV, we have Whomag Multimedia and Video Visual, and on Roku, Apple, Fire Stick. 2019 was it? I did a lot of stuff, man. We're the first ones to get involved with NFTs for music distribution. We had something called the Homies.
Interesting.
Yeah, we did. And what else did we do?
Listen, you gave me the whole rundown. There's no more questions, I guess.
But now I have the dopest building in Atlantic City. I have me and my boys. We're at Caesars Pier, formerly Caesars Pier. Now it's 861 Studios. We're turning this massive 550,000 square foot building into a movie lot. Music.
Well, great. We're gonna get into this, and you're gonna tell us more about it because that's very interesting. Obviously, I didn't know you worked for Polygram Records. I didn't know. What did you do for Polygram? Just curious.
I interned at ILS Distribution. In fact, I was just on the phone with Mitch Dudley, who was my boss. I just hung up. Going to be on here. That's my man. He's over at Sony Orchard also. So we're still together. So
it's fair. It's fair, not to interrupt, but it is fair for me to say that was really what started the whole thing. Like my next question was pretty much what got you started in the business. How did you get started? So Polygram Record is your first thing.
So I went to Rider University. I was a double major in marketing and advertising, and my professor, Dr. Strally, who was amazing, told me, I don't know if you cut out for a lot of this stuff. I'm sending everyone else to like door-to-door sales companies and all this other stuff. I got the best internship for you, Polygram Records. I was like, where is it? Like New York City. I'm like, well, I live in Cherry Hill. So like, Rob, do you want it or you don't want it? I'm
That's
like,
about an hour ride.
No. It was a 2.5 hour ride each way on the bus.
Oh my God, on the bus, yes.
Yeah. So 5 hours. I wanted 5 hours to work every day for an unpaid internship. That shows you how bad I wanted it. And after that, like my mind was blown. I met so many people and I really got to learn the industry. And that's when I knew there's nothing else I want to do but music.
You know, that's the key. You said one thing, and really a lot of people sometimes don't how bad you want it and how much you're willing to sacrifice. I lived in Jersey. I lived in New York, and I know where Cherry Hill is. Yes, it is far. It would take me about an hour and a half drive by car, driving 80 miles an hour on the turnpike. So, or Garden State Parkway, if I'm not sure. But yes, 2.5 hours each way.
Take the bus up the 33rd, walk up the Worldwide Plaza.
Yes. And this is what the show's about, really inspiring others who doesn't have the opportunities, how bad you want it and how long and how much you're willing to sacrifice. Great. One inspiring thing and really amazing that you're a Grammy voting member. and which is a unique role in the music industry. And how has being part of that Grammy voting is kind of shaped your perspective on what makes a great music, and how does it impact your involvement in the scene, in the music scene?
It's interesting. It really changed my perspective on a lot of things because before I was always almost like, I don't want to say anti-Grammy, but I'm like, oh, whatever, these guys don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden I was asked to be not just a member, a voting member. And it was because they didn't have anyone that did music videos at that time. And I was the one, I did music videos for a lot of major labels.
Yes.
So that's how I officially got in as a voting member. And now love those guys. The Grammys are great. But I learned that the Grammys is a nonprofit organization, and Renara's and the Grammys, what we see on TV is just a small part of what they do. Grammys are the ones that went to Capitol Hill and protested for us to get all the musicians to get higher pay off of these streaming platforms. They're the ones that helped us get unemployment when COVID hit. It's an organization that fights for the rights of artists. It's not just an award show. So being a member of the Grammys really changed my perspective on everything about this music. I love going to the Christmas parties. I won a Grammy. A Grammy's actually, you see it.
Yes, I see it.
This
is great.
And this
very
is the funny part
inspiring.
about it. This is the funny part.
And this is very important what you said, behind the scene of the Grammy, what they do and how they contribute and what they help. And this is very important for upcoming inspiring artists out there. What are you saying?
My Grammy is for Best Children's Album, Mr. Rogers. That's what's no one ever expected that, but that's what it is.
Wow.
We have W.S. Holland, who is Johnny Cash's drummer, signed to us. We have Ellis Marsalis' last recordings. We do everything. Everyone thinks that because we have a lot of hip-hop legends and hip-hop and R&B artists, that's all we do. We do a little bit of everything. And my Grammy's for Mr. Rogers.
Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, my friend. Congrats.
Thank you.
Also, you have songs that hit the Billboard chart. That's a remarkable achievement. And can you break down what it takes to create a chart-topping track and share the advice for inspiring artists who aim to reach those heights, please?
Sure. So there's two different snares. One, the ones that we distributed. We had 2 number 1 singles, a number 3 and a number 6. We had one in the Latin blues. We had Latin jazz, 1 in blues, 2 in blues, and 1 in the country charts, actually. A friend of mine he has a lot of number 1 records, one of my labels, 418, where I work with. They do it all the time. Basically, the way to break Billboard, it's a mixture of radio, streams, downloads. It's a mixture of a bunch of things. So you have to be able to hit all of them to actually chart. So when you're doing a song, one thing you have to think about is it radio friendly, first of all, because you're going to need some spins on it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people say, oh, it's not made for the radio. Well, then how you post a chart on Billboard if it's, because that's
just to ask a question here. What do you mean by radio friendly? Like, is it the length of the song, the sound of the music, the lyrics,
everything? I mean, one thing is we get songs sometimes that are 5-6 minutes long. Sometimes we get songs with lots of curses, and they'll think, oh, I'm just going to edit it out. But even by editing it, you curse so much that no radio station is still going to play an edited version unless you totally re-record it and change the lyrics and have a radio edit where it's a complete inversion. But if you just beeping everything out, some stations still won't play it. And also you got to think about when it comes to explicit, like these playlists don't pick up explicit songs. So you're already knocking yourself out of a lot of playlists already by just cursing, because that's what happens. So you have to think, and I have a lot of hip hop artists especially who don't get this. And I'm like, at least give me a single, dude, where you're not cursing. Like, just give me something that you're not calling this person this or doing this or talking about this, because we can try to get more playlisting that way if it's something that is family friendly.
Is radio,
but
is radio play still as important as 20 years ago? Well, we all know streaming is everything right now. Everything is digital streaming. But is radio play affect any of that, or not really? Or mostly YouTube? And
not really. I mean, I was just before now, I was just interviewed for this call. I was interviewed on Sirius XM. Yeah, they're going to do, because Rock the Bells is hosting one of my events coming up, Distro Fest in 2 weeks. And one thing about, being on the distributor side, I love it when Sirius XM plays our songs, because we get nice checks through distribution, man. So when you go to something like radio, it does help as far as the money you make, because 3 streams equal a penny when it comes to streaming. So, all that work you put into the streaming doesn't pay as much as radio, but are people listening to the radio still is the question. And, people are, but it's not like it was back in the day, because that was our only option. That was so many
Correct.
options.
Now you have TikTok and you have Reels, Instagram Reels, and all of that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it really comes down to, and the thing about it too is you got to remember is, even though say, okay, everyone's on Spotify, cool, but guess what? Now you're battling everybody. So
Correct.
it's better to find a smaller lane and just focus on the smaller lane and trying to get everybody in that small lane. Don't get more fans and trying to follow what the trends are.
Is TikTok is the new way to break songs?
Yeah.
Visual social media like Instagram Reels and TikTok
I mean,
and Shorts
the thing
on
is,
YouTube.
your competition is a cat playing the piano. It's, whatever it is, it's not all just music. So
Yeah.
it's, and hopefully you find a song that cat playing the piano will use your song in the background. A lot of people think I'm just going to do a dance, it's going to go viral. It sounds simple, and it's not, but it's like everything else. There's everyone trying to figure that out. So while right now a lot of songs are breaking on TikTok and social media, I mean, again, sometimes if you're a brand new artist, it's better to think outside the box.
Yes, I think outside the box. That's it. That's it. I didn't even know that you also an experience in music supervising. Basically inserting music into films and TVs shows, which is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Can you share the insider tips and advice for musicians, especially for hip hop genre, and who are looking to get their music placed into movies and TV shows and all of that?
Yeah, so the way I do it is a little different than most music supervisors. I only place for distribution artists. And the reason why is because I know the song. I know who already wrote it. I know if it's cleared or not, because I already did my own research on it. The biggest problem we have as a music supervisor is that people are giving us songs that they don't own. They're getting these tracks off of like BeatStars or off YouTube, and they're telling me they own it. And then all I gotta do is simply Shazam it. And if somebody else's name comes up, I know you don't own it. I'm hearing samples. I know samples. Listen, I know music. So when
they own the creation, but not the actual composition.
they may write the song, but they have that's it. That's all they own. So when they're giving me a song and telling me, "Hey, put the song in there," I'm like, "Dude, this is a sample on Rob Bass, or this is a sample on this person, or Joni Mitchell." They're like, "Oh, well, the producer said I can use it." Dude, you can't. It's like, but they don't understand. People don't understand. And
is that a major problem? Is that a big problem, Rob?
It's a massive problem, because what's going to happen is that if I'm the music supervisor and it slips by me, goes into the movie, and the artist is like that, no one's going to recognize it. Someone's going to listen to that and recognize it. And what's going to happen is that artist is going to not sue that artist. He's not going to sue me. They're going to sue the movie production company, and then it's going to trickle down, and everyone's going to have a lawsuit against it. So the thing is, extra careful with that.
So what do you advise them? Don't sample. Get things contract on paper, like get clearances actually signed by lawyers and papers and all, or just do not sample when you are starting in the business and creating new music. What's your advice?
I'm kind of I don't want to say I'm a jerk, but when it comes to the things I distribute, I'm very, very careful of everything, because we turn down a lot of records. If I hear a sample, even though I'm like, no one's going to know this because no one's going to listen to ours anyway, I still won't pick it up, because I'm very, very careful. I don't want to have any lawsuits against us. My advice is you have to literally stop sampling. If you're going to sample, that's fine. Just put out through somewhere else. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but we can't handle it. That's something
what happened? They're always going to go after the biggest dog in the tree.
That's it. We had lawsuits against my company before. We had one we had to take care of. We took care of it, but we get these strikes against us. We have to fight it. And some of the biggest things right now is like, people don't understand the difference between exclusive tracks and non-exclusive tracks. So if you lease a track, the big thing with people are leasing tracks. If you lease it for $30-$40, that's fine. You can distribute through someone else. I'm not taking it, because guess what? Somebody else has that track. Now, if you Shazam it and someone else's name comes up, that person's getting your money. First of all. Number two, that person could eventually buy the exclusive rights and then flag us for having it. Why am I taking that risk? It's not worth the risk to me.
Well, I hope some of these young cats who's listening to us and taking notes, because this is very valuable, important information, Rob. Really.
Yeah. Everything.
Hip hop, I would say, has seen a remarkable, evolution and continue to shape the music landscape. What do you think keeps the genre so popular as your hip hop head, and you've been in that hip hop side for a long time. And how do you envision the future development of that genre? Also, is it going to change, or just going to continue evolving?
It's That's a tough question for me to answer, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm so into the culture. I've been
Yeah.
involved with hip hop my entire life. Even since '95 with Polygram, I put out Jay-Z's first record in my lifetime. Blase Blase, Jay with the Damager, Dougie Fresh, the AOI record, Beanie Man. So group home. I've been so and as a little kid, I grew up loving hip hop. Like I was a weird kid. People thought I was weird. So why you listen to the stuff? So I love hip hop. So the direction is gone now. I'm not too happy with it, to be honest with you.
Why?
You can't go to shows now without shootings or fights. A lot of the songs sound the same right now. Everyone's saying the same thing. There's not a lot of storytelling anymore. And the thing about it is there's still a lot of incredible artists out there,
Yes.
but they're getting overlooked from the quick. I want to remember all these lyrics real quick so I can memorize all these lyrics. Back in the day, I used to write lyrics down and study them to memorize songs. Now you hear these hip hop songs once or twice, and it's so simple. You remember everything. And it's to me, it's like there are still some amazing. And that's why I love what I do with the distribution, man, because I get to pick what I want, and I have so many
Yes.
incredible artists that are lyricists, but they never really cross over to the mainstream. So
I mean, listen, you travel a lot.
Yeah.
You speak. You go to a lot of conventions. I traveled a lot also. And would you say hip hop is everybody's culture, worldwide culture, or is when you go to Spain? Let's say I know you just came back from Spain, so would you hear different kind of music right now that's really kind of taken over? If you go to China, if you go to the Middle East, if you go to, the world is small and big right now. It's a combination of both.
So I spoke in South Korea to 50,000 people about hip hop music before.
Yeah.
I just got back from Barcelona at the Future Music Forum speaking about branding.
Correct.
But
Yes.
I got to say, when I was in Italy last year, I spoke at a hip hop film festival in Rome, and I was very pleasantly shocked.
Uh-huh.
There were a lot of people living like, part of it is like, yeah, you're living like you're in the 1980s with the culture, but they love hip hop so much. They're dressed as b-boys and b-girls. They're breakdancing. They're showing off for me all the breakdance moves. And it was like everybody. With the movies that they were making out there were like real, hip hop orientated. And I think we take it for granted. Like I'm over here by the Philadelphia area in South Jersey. I know you're from the New York area around here. So it's like we're like around the Mecca. We grew up around it. So like when I went to South Korea, I wanted to buy a really cool South Korea shirt because I was in South Korea. I go to the mall and all they had was New York shirts. I saw a few Paris shirts, but everything was New York.
Wow.
I was so I just want to buy a South Korea. I couldn't find one.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
they love us so much overseas because we are an influence, and I think we take that for granted.
I'll say that again. I'll repeat it. Yes, we do take things for granted here. Absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of hip hop artists, legends especially, go overseas and make 10 times as much more money than they do here, and they love them overseas. Wow. They do a show over there, it's sold out. They do a show over here, maybe 20, 30 people. So, and what the craziest thing was when I went to South Korea, I had this personal tour guide. He was like naming off oh, you heard of so-and-so? I'm like, nah. He's like, oh, he's from New York. Nah, you heard of so-and-so from Philly? He's the biggest rapper in Philly. I'm like, I never heard of him. I'm like, and I'm realizing how easy it is to go overseas and fool these people. And that's what people are doing too.
Well, I wouldn't say fool, but kind of because they embrace the culture and they love it. They kind of, they welcome it.
They welcome, I don't want to say fool is the right word, but
they welcome it. Yes.
At the same time, it's like when you're here, there's like millions of artists out here. When you're out there, there's millions of artists too, but we stand out. Like if somebody from a different country comes here, they pop out to us because the way they talk, the way they look, the sounds. So they
just a quick question: what would you like to see in the hip hop? Should I say the hip hop world to change, to make it more, kind of more in a positive, the positive message out there? Like, what would you like to see for it to change? Like, what's,
I love this, the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I love that people are starting to learn that the Brooklyn Library, what they did with Jay-Z, like they're trying to figure out how to attract kids to the classic generation. I think that the problem is the younger generation doesn't care. They don't care about what it is. Where other genres, you study the Rolling Stones and like the Joni Mitchell. You're growing up, like, you want to be a guitar player, you
Yeah.
study guitar players,
Yes.
before you play. Hip hop artists aren't studying a lot of the classic hip hop artists. So now we have a window. It's the 50th anniversary, and I'm glad that these artists are getting paid what they actually deserve finally to do shows, and they're super duper high in demand because of it. I'm just scared on the 51st anniversary what's going to happen, but I'm hopefully at this point this year, a lot of doors open up and a lot of things change, and this is the time to make a change to help the educational side of it, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Great. Love the message. Love it. For you kids out there, whoever's listening, aspiring artists who wants to be an artist, or, take notes, please. Rob knows what he's talking about. Please take notes. And that's what the show is about, the Soundbreaker, to help others to break into the business, You've had an opportunity to work with a lot of big names in the music industry. Can you share an unforgettable experience that you have had while collaborating with one of the biggest names that you came across or you worked with?
Collaboration's a hard word to say because, through HuMag TV, I interviewed like 3,000 people. Through HuMag TV, DMT, and Video Vision, we interviewed 3,000 people. So interviewing, I got a lot of great interview stories, but that's not really collabing. Movie-wise, I've done a ton of movies. I worked with a lot of major stars in the movie world, but that's not really collabing either, I guess, because that's just working with movie stars. But I worked with, to me, I think one of my favorite interviews, believe it or not, even on, it was a hip-hop show, HuMag, was actually Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings. Because I was a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, and I remember I saw he was speaking in Philadelphia, and I went over to do it. I reached out to her name was Sharon Pinkerton. She ran the Philadelphia film office, and she was super nice. And she's like, "Listen, Sean said he'll do the interview once he's done speaking and signing all his books." He had two little girls at the time. Lord of the Rings, the third DVD was coming out at that time. That dates it back how long ago it was. His girls were real little. They were tired. They were yelling at him to go to bed. He's still signing books. I'm thinking I'm never going to get this interview. And it was almost 4 a.m. And the girl, as soon as he was done, the girls were pulling him. He goes, "No, this man's been waiting for me all day. I'm giving him a great interview." He gave me a great interview.
Amazing.
And people like that, you just don't forget. Pitbull was super duper nice when I interviewed Pitbull. It was somebody else's interview. He invited us to come, and when he was done with them, coming to us, and they had this big food spread, and my camera guy ate up most of his food. But he was super cool. One of my favorite groups of all time. I grew up on was a group called Nucleus. They had a song called Jam On It, which is a classic song. And one day I was like wondering, like, I interviewed all these famous people. I never interviewed one of them. So I looked them up, went to the house, had like a 2-hour interview. And me and Cosmo are like, we're super duper close friends now. We talk all the time. He's coming out in 2 weeks. I see him all the time. So a lot of it is with me, these stories is like, I look who I idolized growing up. And I have an opportunity to talk to them now because the TV shows, everybody wants to.
Yes.
And now we do panels. I did a Play Music conference, and I did Distro Fest 1 and 2. We had panels on 2. So now I get to bring my industry friends in to speak on things and bring the industry together. So
great. I mean, that is an incredible journey you had so far, Rob. Absolutely. Really incredible. Something that, a lot of us been through. And, as we all know, the music industry known for its challenges and setbacks. Can you share a difficult moment that you faced in your career and you had to overcome? And how do you overcome it?
Yeah, so I can tell you a story that I really don't talk about. I'll give you something exclusive here, Bob.
Please, absolutely.
All right, so I left my TV show.
Hold on. This is a Soundbreaker exclusive, everyone.
Here we go.
Please.
Yes. I left the financial world 2009 of October because my TV
Wall
show,
Street. Yes.
Yep. I worked at that time. I was at Merrill Lynch. I was doing so well with HuMag TV. Then, so I left it and decided I'm gonna go full time. I'm making these guys this much money. I'm making this much with HuMag. If I do full time in HuMag, so I took that massive jump. As it was going on, it was going great, but I also got to doing music videos. So I started doing a lot of music videos, and then 2012, I was hired to do a music video in Iowa. And the artist, the very first scene was he pulls up with the car breaks down, he gets out, does this thing, walk around, and the whole city shut down to do this video. I didn't know he didn't know how to drive. and he crushed me between two cars. And as a result, they wanted to amputate my leg initially. I went to the hospital, and they were really pushing to amputate my leg, and I said no. My son was just born right before this. My daughter was 3. And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, well, you're going to wish you did because you have compartment syndrome, your leg's blowing up. Yes. You're going to have to cut it out, take it off. I'm like, nah. Because I'm in Iowa. Like if they told me that in Philadelphia or New York or Jersey, I'd be, no disrespect to the, Iowa, just that we have great hospitals over here. So I took my chances, and I couldn't walk for 6-7 months. So now all my music videos stopped. You know what I'm saying? The TV shows stopped. And here I am. I quit the day job where I was making decent money, and now I'm sitting there with nothing. And I started losing everything. You're
not working at Wall Street anymore. You quit that job.
Nope. So I had to figure out what to do. So that's the reason why I started iFame TV on Roku. I came across Roku. I was trying to figure out how to launch my own TV network because my nationwide network went off the air. And I didn't have $150,000 a month to get a direct TV channel or Dish TV channel. So I researched my ass off, came across something called Roku. And for 7-8 months, no one knew this. I was working in my bed and I couldn't walk. I didn't tell anybody. No one knew. I just turned down other video jobs that kept coming in and just focused on my TV network and focused on other strategies to make money. And that was tough because everything was over. My whole life just changed in one moment. And I had to bounce back to recreate myself because now I can't even go look for a job if I wanted to because I can't walk. Yes. So what do? And this is 2012. So this was, before working at home was even thought about really. So it was something I had to overcome, and I had to figure out fast and reinvent myself, and I did. So
yes.
So there's your story, Bob.
Yes, well, this is definitely an exclusive, and I'll tell you, it goes back to the beginning of the conversation when you said how bad you want it. It makes traveling from Cherry Hill to Manhattan to New York City is a walk in the park, actually. Mm-hmm. This is, how bad you want it. Very inspiring and being creative. And that's the music business about. It's all really about, I would say, in my opinion, is about being creative and being consistent. Consistent and creative. You got to always think. There's always a way. There's always something to do.
This industry always changes. You have to understand, if you want to be in this industry, you have to be able to adapt fast.
That's it. Adaption. Yes. You got to adapt, and you always got to think. There's new ways.
It's a full-time job just studying what the future is going to be and understanding. Like we got NFTs, we got to the Roku, we got everything. It's like really you have to be forward thinking. If everyone else is already doing it and then you hop on, it's too late. You missed it.
How long I know you? I know you for years, for a long time. I never knew that. I never knew that. Absolutely. Very inspiring, my friend. Really. Congrats. Kudos. So you need another award from us, from Soundbreakers.
Sounds good.
You do. You really do. I'm going to tell my producer, Ash, to get one. We're going to create one. We're going to give it to you. Yes. Yes. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing such an inspiring story. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, what is some of the common misconception people have about this business? In the music industry, people always have it painted in a glamorous scene, but nobody really know the hard work and what goes beyond the scene. If you can share some of the, experiences in your opinion. Oh, misconceptions.
I'm going to give you 2 different perspectives. I'm going to give you one from the artist and one from the industry. Yeah. From the artist perspective, because I talk to artists all day long, is that it's easy, and they realize it's not. Okay, we'll just buy some fake views and we'll fake it. And everyone wants to find a shortcut. Everyone wants to be a superstar quick. There's millions and millions and millions of artists out there. There's 100,000 uploads to Spotify every single day. Now you put that
100,000 uploads every day.
To DSPs every single day. So put that in perspective, that if your one song is one of 100,000 today, is one of 200,000 tomorrow, it's one of 300,000 the next day. So, and getting fake views isn't going to help you because when you have to drop another single, you still don't have any fans. And as an industry person, I can dissect it so quick. You come into my office with your fake Instagram followers, your fake YouTube views. It takes me 2 seconds to dissect it, and I can look right out the bat. So I have to learn how to do that. But I have software that does that, and I learned myself. But anyway, the big thing is it is hard work, and it's 3 jobs. It's you being an artist, it's you doing social media, and then it's also you understanding what's next. Like you have to do all this. Plus, if you need a day job to support it, that's 4 jobs. So when I worked at Merrill Lynch, I would work from 9 till 7 when I get home. I would eat something, and then I'd work from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Sometimes 2 or 3 hours, then go back to Maryland. I was in New York all the time. I used to drive up to New York because I had a TV show, so I was always up there interviewing people. So I was back and forth. I come home from Maryland, Cherry Hill, drive all the way up to New York, film, come home at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, sleep for 2 or 3 hours, go to work, and pretend I'm wide awake because I was a supervisor. And no one knew what I did. I was like a Clark Kent Superman. Like I couldn't tell anybody because then people would look you up. But so as an artist, if you want it bad enough, you got to do whatever it takes and stop being fake, be real, because people appreciate you as being more real. As far as the industry's perspective, I didn't come from any money. I didn't have any relatives in the music industry. I did everything I did on my own. A lot of people think that you have to have somebody to pull you in, and it always helps, of course. But you will find your way. If you want, again, you want it bad enough, you just got to read. There's so many podcasts like this one. Go through all Bob's episodes. There's a ton of them out there. Just research it and just, there's always, instead of like watching TV and watching Netflix, read a book about this industry, like learn about it and learn every aspect. Even if you want to do one thing specifically, learn about everything else because you'll be so much more valuable and you give
educate yourself. Yes.
And also one thing too, which I always say is go to conferences, go spend the money. Don't, because you'll get to see these speakers, you get to meet people. It's not all about the speakers, it's also everyone else that's there behind you. You get to meet people that are like-minded people that you can collaborate with and figure out some other strategies.
Create the relationships. Make these relationships.
Yes. Internet relationships. Yes. No, you need to be in person.
This business based on relationships. Yes.
I just got back from Barcelona. I just got back, went straight to Syracuse, New York, and spoke at a film festival.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes,
I saw that. Gave Alec Baldwin Award actually. I'll post photos later this week. Before that, I was in Toronto. I spoke at Canadian Music Week. But when I'm not speaking, I'm in the crowd. I'm not going to my room. I'm not going to the bar. I'm talking to people because and I'm talking to the regular people. I'm not saying I'm talking to speakers. I'm there. If I can inspire somebody, I will. But you never know who that person is. So you have to learn to be an extrovert. And it's hard for people, but you have to put on a fake mask and go out there and do what you have to do. But that's how you win, man. It's all about the more you learn, the better.
Yes. Correct. So you would say, you heard it first, guys, definitely here. No fake views. We don't support fake views. Definitely. What does that mean? No shortcuts. And believe in yourself. It depends how bad you want it. You got to believe in yourself and you got to keep going forward. Create new relationships. Take notes, everyone. Relationships, this business based on relationships and collaboration. Absolutely. And be innovative, be creative, come up with new ways. You were in bed. You couldn't even move for 6-7 months. And look at it. And you had family, you had kids to feed, wife, and a baby. Absolutely. Great. Yep. More kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Well, it takes us to also what I just said about collaboration and relationships. Collaboration is a key element in this world, and especially in the music business. And is there a collaboration you would share with that's someone you work with that left an impact on you, Rob?
You know what? This is, I'm not trying to plug what's going on here.
No, we want you to.
Yeah, my whole thing is I've always worked by myself.
Yes.
Because I worked with people. Every time I tried to bring someone in, it didn't work.
Yes.
So some friends, my friends Roy and Joe, I've known them for about 15 years. And I know my partner Dom for a while too. And my friend Chris over here, I know him for about 10 years. And Kofi's new with us now. But it was a bunch of us that got together, decided to open up this. They're in the movie world. I'm in the film world. They're in the movie world. I'm in the music world. And Dom's in the events world. So it's like we all came together with this idea to open up this building. We've only been here for 2 months. We fight. We crack on each other. We're becoming like best friends, all of a sudden. But we're running a building.
Yes.
And it's like, as much as I love music and film, we come in here with all these high expectations. We're coming in dealing with maintenance issues. We're dealing with insurance issues, how to get an alcohol license. So it's life-changing. This whole experience here is life-changing to me, and I love it. It's like the best thing for all of us to ever happen to us. But it's me letting my guard down because I've always had my guards up to partner with people and learning to like adapt more with partners. So as far as collaborations, man, I think this is probably the greatest right here. And I'm so excited for what we have plans, and I can't wait till we're completely up and running.
Yeah.
But we are running now, but at a small speed. But that's it, man. I mean, this is, and the good thing too is Distro Fest 1 I did by myself. Distro Fest 2, and I have people helping me out, coming to me every day. Rob, what can we do? Rob, what can we do? And we're like, Rob, it's your show. Well, we want to help you with your show. What can we do? And I'm actually like, okay, fine, do this. And I'm breathing like, wow, okay.
Yes.
And I know they'll knock it out the park. So it makes me feel really good to have people like that around me.
Good to know. Well, technology, I'm going to shift to something in the music business, but to a different thing where technology significantly changed the landscape of this business that we're in. And how have, advancement in technology influenced your work in the music industry?
Everything. It started when I put my first DVD out in 2005. I had no idea what I was doing. It wasn't meant to be a DVD. It was supposed to be part of a business package for an investor. And I had a whole business plan together, and it was just a bonus that I made this DVD up as extra. Look what the cool stuff we can do. The investor was BSing this the whole time. Never happened. I had this DVD, didn't know what to do with it. I found this book of Barnes & Noble, it was a list of distributors. Bought the book for like $40, which was a lot of money for me at that time. Made up 1,000 copies of the DVD, just mailed them out to every single person in the book.
Wow.
And everyone rejected except for two. There was one called Empire, and one called MBD. And
I was going to say MBD. I was going to say, yes.
But Empire said, hey, so Empire got me into Blockbuster, Walmart, Target, Best Buy. MBD got me into Sam Goody. Not Sam Goody, they got me into Tower and a few other ones. And next thing you know is I have this DVD that went worldwide. And
wow.
It was just a mistake. From there, I'm like, okay. And then I had to teach myself how to film and edit because my camera guy moves. So I had to teach myself that kind of technology. Then it came from learning, even when from the TV show, right? That turned out to edit my TV show. Then learning about this Roku thing. Like, what's this OTT thing? 2012. This is 10 years ago. And I'm sitting there, I had to come up with strategies around it. So like, hey, everybody have a TV network. Oh yeah, where is it? It's called iFame TV. Here, where is it? It's on Roku. What's Roku? You have to be prepared to have a pitch because no one knew what Roku was. Next thing you know, everyone in Philadelphia was buying Rokus because I purposely was filming them. Yeah. And I said, you could only watch it on Roku. So people were going out buying Rokus to watch themselves. And then with the NFTs, man, I created something called the Whomies. Do I have it back here? Yeah. I created, I saw NFTs was the next thing, and no one knew NFTs were at that time. So actually,
wow, look at that.
Artists into NFTs. I made physical copies too because no one knew what they were. I took 10 of my artists and turned them into NFTs. And the tough part was like these packs were like digitally $15 to buy, but I would spend an hour and a half on the phone trying to explain for someone to spend $15. And that was kind of tough, but it did really well. But it's always like the next stuff, man. It's like
technology always been positive to you,
and I love it. I love challenges. And something
I don't want to get into it, but some people reject it, especially AI is not around the corner. It's already part of our business, part of our everything. Yeah. And everybody's like, they fringe a little bit, but I think it's going to have a positive impact on the music industry. That's my opinion.
Technology makes technology.
Yes.
With that being said, it's going to keep getting quicker. Look how long it took from the 12-track, the records.
I've been there. I've been through it all. Yes, vinyl, cassettes, and everything. Yeah, all of it.
It got shorter. Now it's absolutely like this. Yes. But AI is going to, as a music supervisor, like AI is definitely the death of us. I'm scared of AI because of that. Because,
don't be.
It's not the death of us. It's not, but it's really there's some things we're looking at to embrace it, and there's so many positives to it too.
Yes.
As a music supervisor, it's going to be rough on us.
Yes.
But it is what it is.
Hey, we have to adapt. We have to adapt to new things. In your line of work, how do you stay updated with the latest trends, innovations, changes in the industry, and how important to continue to learn? But how do you keep yourself at least, updated first?
The good thing is a lot of my artists are educated enough to say, hey, Rob, I saw this, or hey, Rob, how I do this. And a lot of times, like, I don't know. So I always do my own research and see what the next trends are. But I'm always studying stuff too. One big thing we have here in Jersey is we have the highest tax credits in the United States for movies. So it's something that now I have to be on top of all the film side stuff too, because we're now a film production company here too with the film sets. So it's a lot, man. But I mean, I read stuff that come. I don't read the newspapers much. I look at my phone. I'm not just scrolling through Instagram. Sometimes I'm just looking up different trade magazines just to see what's going on. I go to a lot of conferences, and there's always a new topics. Of course, right now the hot thing is AI. Everyone's talking about AI. And I was at the NEVA conference, which is the National Independent Venue Association, and the biggest thing is it's all about ticketing. So the biggest conversation is second market ticketing sales and stuff like that. So all that kind of stuff, you may be like, this has nothing to do with me, but eventually it does. So just be on top of everything.
Great. I one of the reasons I started this podcast is I stumbled on a lot of great stories in my 25 years in the business, and I figured, why not? Inspire others and be inspired and share the stories that that we paved the unique path for us, like yourself and me, and I'm sure many, many, many others in the business. Which leads me to the question is how, as you know, this business has something called gatekeeping, where people kind of don't want to give you the key or open the gate for you. And many of our listeners in a similar situations, especially the younger ones, I shouldn't say younger and older ages, no matter in the music business, doesn't have a number. But in this situation, like what tips can you give people who want to get into the business, but this business is known for the gatekeeping, if you know what I mean, which kind of prevent from a lot of people coming into the business. But there is ways, like if we can help each other, obviously, and open the doors for others, we can grow the business better. But I know the business has that. What's your, just a quick tip on that?
I said this earlier, the best thing to do is go to conferences. And why I say that is because, like, when I did Play Music Conference, I had over 70 speakers in my conference. And the reason why I did that, I brought all of my people there. I brought all my plugs. Everyone's like, Rob, you're plugging everybody. Yeah, but I don't want you to call my phone all day. Here, I brought everyone in the room. I brought The Orchard, I brought Publishing, I brought Music Supervisors, I brought BMI, I brought the MLC, I brought who else, man? We had we had 7 different speakers, organizations, members of the Grammys. I brought them all in a room together. And I said,
well, you're a great example for such a thing. Definitely.
Yeah.
So stay active. Your message is stay active. Go out, be out there.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I know some people want to gatekeep because they want to figure out how to make money off of it. Right?
By themselves.
Yeah, they want to figure out, like, I'm going to be the bottleneck so I can make money off these transactions. I'm more like, listen, man, you guys, we roll together. I want to see all you guys win. So I don't want to bottleneck anything. Here it is. But after this, after I do play, if you didn't come, you can't call me up and ask me these questions when I put everyone right there for you to talk to in person.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the thing is, like, you have to be proactive and find his answers. And if you feel like someone's bottlenecking you and being that gatekeeper, then you have to figure out your own way to get around it. Maybe there's a different situation to figure out. Go to these conferences, man. They happen all over.
Well, I look at it this way. If somebody says no to you, then you're talking to the wrong person. Move on to the next one. Yep. That's it.
Don't waste your time. No negative energy. Just move.
Yes. I mean, definitely this is a valuable insight, my friend. Really, really. And to our listeners, I'm sure they're going to find these incredibly, incredibly helpful and inspiring. And hopefully that will shed some light on their path to be in the music industry. Before we wrap it up, is there anything else, which I know you do, to share about your big project you've been talking about since the beginning? And we've spoken on the phone quite a few times. You told me about it. So please, I'm not going to say nothing. I'll let you take the lead on that one.
So I mentioned earlier, like right now, the biggest venture I ever worked on. I'm right now at ACX Studios in Atlantic City. We have a 550,000 square foot building that we've made for movie production with movie lots, and we have a whole production team in here. We also have 17,000 square feet for a music incubator. We have retail stores on the bottom floor. It was a 4-story mall. This literally was a mall. It was Caesar's Pier. It's over the ocean. It's over the boardwalk. It's over the beach. It's incredible. It's massive. We have a venue in the back that holds 3,000 people for concerts, plus a small stage in the front. There's like 17 bars and restaurants in our building that we're converting everything over to movie sets. So super excited to be here. And our next big event is in 2 weeks, the 21st and 22nd. October 21st and 22nd of 2023 is called Distro Fest 2. And what we have is we have about 80 artists performing. We have about 40 panelists speaking.
Is that going to take place in your building, in your new studio building? Wow, great.
I'm bringing everyone to Atlantic City. You guys want to come out and party, come out. But it's going to be a lot of industry people here. You can definitely network. If you're an artist, this is the place to be. I'm bringing all these contacts into one place for 2 days. So come out here, distrofest.com to get the tickets. But we're doing a 50th anniversary of hip-hop special. We got some really big hip-hop legends performing, as well as you have rock, we have pop, jazz, Latin, a little bit of everything, man. We got some great EDM DJs spinning. So it's all genres. But I'm
going to come up there. I'll probably come up there myself. Absolutely.
If you're going to come up, I'm going to put you on the panel, though.
That's it. Right. I'm down. Yes, we'll speak about it after the show. Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for joining us, Rob, and taking the time. Really appreciate it today. And including today's episode of Soundbreaker. Please if you like us, please like us, follow us on social media, and stay tuned for more episodes. Rob, thanks again, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time. My pleasure. Thanks.
This podcast is presented by Music Dash, world's first AI-powered independent distribution CMS. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to share the Soundbreaker Podcast. And if you are joining us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.